Good afternoon, everybody. I am Group Captain Ashok Kumar Sharma. I am a helicopter pilot, or rather, I was a helicopter pilot in the Air Force, and I did almost about 33 years of service in the Air Force. When I was completing about 20 years of service, then the Air Force gave me an opportunity to become an interviewing officer. I was sent to a course to DIPR, that is Defense Institute of Psychological Research, where I did a course there for 1 month course. And after being qualified in that course, I was sent to one of the AFSBs for practical training, where I was made to interview the candidates, look at what kind of personalities they have, assess their personality, and give my views on that. So it took me almost about two months to do that practical training, and thereafter I became a qualified interviewing officer, and DIPR gave me a certificate to that effect. After that, to utilize my course and also my expertise in the field, I was posted in the 4 AFSB Varanasi, where I was posted as an interviewing officer. Interviewing officer is a person who directly deals with the candidate. Otherwise, the psychologist does not have a look at the candidate. The GTO takes them in a group. Here we talk 1v1 with the candidate, and we try to evaluate his personality. And before I evaluate, should I go on asking about personality as well? Should I define the personality? Basically, personality, what we take in the armed forces is how you react to your external factors. That is in a nutshell, is the personality. Basically, we want to see your reaction to your environment. Your environment constitutes all the external factors which are impinging on to your personality, yourself, and how you react defines your personality. Okay, Gordon Albert has given in 1937 the definition, which roughly states the same thing as to how you react to the external factors which are impinging on yourself. So we have been taught as to how to look at the personality, how to judge the personality, how to gauge the personality by your responses to my questions. Okay, when we ask you questions, we are not looking only at the verbal answer which you are giving me. It has got so many things, how you respond to that, what are your mannerisms, so many things. Even your modulation of voice also gives me so many things about your personality. You may be thinking, I had replied the question correctly. I was correct, 100%, that's there. But how you replied it, how much time did you take to reply it? Did you pause? Did you think for a moment before replying? All these things gives me an input about your personality. And even your body language. Where have you been looking while replying to my question? All these things, they give me a good input about your personality, how you're reacting to the situation I have given you by a question. Okay, so we check your personality, and there's nothing right and wrong of the personality for the armed forces. As you must be knowing, the personality evolves over a period of time. From your birth till now, whatever, maybe about 20 odd years which you passed, whatever you've done has got an impact on your personality, has evolved you through the we can say ages. Now what you become today is all the product of from the time of your birth till now. So now what have you become is all because of that. That is why we say we check your background, we check your past. And based on the past, based on your responses in the past, we maybe pronounce or we tell about your future as to what kind of person you will be in the next future or maybe few years after that. That is why the SSB does not give your present value. Okay, what you are present, that is agreed. But we forecast as to after training what kind of a person you will be. Will you be means attaining the characteristics of an average officer or not? That is what we have to forecast after completing your interview or interaction with you as a candidate. So this is basically how we go about judging you in your personality assessment through the interview technique, and then we give us our wording. Okay, yeah, very important. How the candidate or the individual should prepare. Basically, you don't require any preparation for the Armed Forces SSB. It is evaluation of what you are. Okay, but sometimes what happens, the candidates get carried away by the people, those who are having more experience in the SSB. You would have seen that somebody has been to SSB for maybe 15 times, somebody has been to SSB for 20 odd times, and they feel that a person who's gone to the SSB for more number of times has got a good personality. No. Had he been getting a good personality, he would have been recommended in the first few attempts only. If he has not been successful for so many attempts, it is a very, very clear indication that his personality has got a very big lacuna. So what happens if you interact with such people and try to learn from them, you are learning the mistakes. What mistakes they have been committing, you will also learn those, and you will also start committing those mistakes. Okay, every personality, as I said in the beginning also, is unique, because what you have gone through your life cannot be replicated by somebody else. Even to that extent, even if they are two twins, they will also not be having the same personality. Reason for that is because, agreed, they have been born to the same parents, but thereafter, despite staying in the same house, same kind of environment, your exposure to various things is different. That is why your personality till now, whatever is not similar. It is different. So that is why every personality is unique, and till the time you know as to if there is any lacuna in your personality for the armed forces or not, you should not unnecessarily get convinced or get impressed by the people, those who have been to more number of SSBs, because you are trying to learn something which is as it is wrong. Okay, had they been successful, then I would say certainly there. If anybody is already cleared this, then if he tells you some tips, that still has got some weightage compared to the person who has not been recommended even once, but he has got so many experience of maybe 15-20 SSBs. Okay, so it is my advice to all the aspiring candidates, those who want to join the armed forces, is please do not spoil your personality by taking input from such people. Okay, you are a unique person, so you have to deal with somebody who knows about the personality, who knows how to gauge the personality, who knows how to assess the personality. That person only will be able to tell you if there is anything wrong which is not suitable to the armed forces. He will be able to tell you, not the person who has got so much of experience to the SSB that he has been to the SSB 15 times, 20 times. Okay, so that is why you should not listen to those people. If you really want to take some guidance, please take guidance from the qualified people, those who have been in this business, those who have been checking the personalities in the SSBs, those who have been given qualification by the DIPR after doing the due course. How a person show his genuine personality traits. As you said, the personality is genuine and every personality is unique. So that is why the traits which you exhibit in your interaction with other people will also be unique to your personality. Okay, so I cannot give you any fixed answer that if I ask you this question, you reply this. No. Okay, this is not mathematical question that I tell you A plus B is equal to C. When I ask you A plus B, you tell me C. No. Every question which has been posed to you has been posed taking your personality into account. When I say your personality, we have been studying you. The interviewing officer goes through your personal information questionnaire, that is the PIQ, and makes a mental picture of your personalities in mind before he's starting your interview. He knows what kind of a person is he, what kind of atmosphere he's been brought up, what kind of activities he has done in his maybe childhood, adulthood. Okay, then he makes a picture and then he starts questioning you. And the question is also set pattern of questions. All three CIQ comprehensive introductory questionnaire is same for all, but responses from every candidate will be different. And how the interviewing officer gauges those responses is also unique to that individual. That is why the personality comes into play. So no fixed way can be said that how to improve it. No. The improvement can only be told to the individual once I assess you first. And the assessment also can be done by only a qualified person. Otherwise, the assessment, everybody can say, okay, you have not replied to the correct question. You did not reply any general awareness question. Agreed. But I am not looking at only the correct answer from you. I am also looking at how you reply. And the general awareness questions are not just picked up randomly from anywhere are asked. No. Every general awareness question which has been asked in your interview in the SSB has got some bearing with your background. Otherwise, suppose, for example, if you belong to Tamil Nadu, I will ask you political questions about Tamil Nadu. I'll ask you to tell me who's the chief minister in Tamil Nadu, who's the governor in Tamil Nadu. If you belong to Tamil Nadu, I'll not ask you whether tell me who's the governor in Himachal Pradesh, because you don't have any link to that. So this is not general knowledge question, these are general awareness questions. Basically, we want to see when you stayed at so and so place, have you kept your eyes and ears open or not? Have you looked at your surroundings or not? Are you aware about them or not? It is not general knowledge. I am not checking you for any general knowledge. I am checking you for general awareness. And awareness, once wherever you stayed, when you got some connection to that place, I will check your knowledge about that place only. And this is very, very important for armed forces. We want our officers in the armed forces to keep their ears and eyes open wherever they are. Then only they can become very effective leaders for the armed forces people. Okay. Actually, body language always substantiates what you say. And when you try to say which is not true for you, your body language will give a different meaning. It will not coincide with your answer or your verbal answer. To that effect, whenever you try to say some wrong answer, you try to deceive somebody, you don't have guts to look into his eyes and say. At that time, you will be looking left or right. You will not be gauging in his eyes. Because what you're speaking is not true. You yourself are not convinced about that. So that is how we check your body language. This was one of the examples. That whenever a person speaks truth, he has got guts, he will have that confidence to look into your eyes and speak. But whenever a person is trying to take you or give you wrong information, try to befool you, try to give you incorrect information, he will, or anybody, not any candidate, but anybody, will not have the guts to look into the eyes of the person whom he is speaking to. So that is why this is one example how we check your body language, whether it is corresponding or whether it is substantiating your answer or not. If it is correct, it will substantiate, it will add on to your answer. Your body language will add on to your verbal response. But whenever you are not correct, the response will not be matching with the body language, or your body will not be with what you're speaking. That is how we check whether the person is giving a correct answer or is bluffing. You've spoken about the OLQs, officers like qualities. We assess all the candidates for these 15 OLQs, which are there in the, you can say, SSBs, all three techniques, these 15 qualities only. And every technique has got a unique way of judging these qualities. In the interview technique, the interviewing officer judges you in these 15 qualities only, but in a different manner by your responses to various questions. How much time you take to respond. Where have you been looking when I have been asking you? When I'm trying to probe you with difficult questions, what is your gesture? What means, are you uneasy or not? Or are you confident? All these things, they give me so many inputs about your personality. And these inputs, when I put, we call them giving responses. These are the clues of the technique or clues of the interview technique, which you give me. These clues can be verbal, can be by your gestures, even can be by eye movements. It can be by your showing of your interest in the question. All these things are there. and they help me. These clues help me grade you in those qualities, and these responses are not unique to one quality. Sometimes the personality is such that one response gives me input maybe for 2 to 3 qualities also. So your responses, how you respond to these questions are means well thought of, they're well prepared. Looking at the armed forces requirement, these CIQs have been made that this standard pattern of questions is asked, and then we look at the responses. And thereafter, once I get the responses from the candidate, I try to probe them further. If I've got any doubt, anything further to be elucidated out of that, I probe that individual, I probe that particular aspect of his personality. And then he starts giving me inputs for various qualities. I cannot tell you as to which quality is connected to which question. This is not possible. Okay, so we take, first of all, the response, how the person is responding, what is the time he's taking to respond, where is he looking while responding, all this body language, everything comes into play to give me whether the response is correct to his personality or not. There is no wrong or right personality for the armed forces, because as I said, everybody has got different upbringing. Your personality is product of what you've gone through. So there is nothing right or wrong personality. Only thing we check how much suitable is that personality is for the armed forces. If I find it is suitable, and then I said in the beginning itself, we look at the trainability. I am not telling what is the present level of personality. Then after judging the present level, I am taking his background into play. That is called as trainability factors. Okay, where his background comes into play, socio-economic background, where has he stayed, what kind of what is his parents doing, where has he stayed, what kind of education has he taken, okay, has he got some exposure to the armed forces before or not. All these things, they come into play, and then we forecast his future personality after completion of training. So the recommendation and not recommendation is based on what I forecast the personality after completion of training. So if a person who's maybe coming from very humble background, but he's showing most of you can say enthusiasm to join the armed forces, despite his personality, present form might not be very good, suitable for the armed forces. But I know that this person who has not been exposed to any of the armed forces atmosphere, once he's put through the training, he will learn faster. Okay, and then maybe at the end of maybe 1.5 years of training, if he's a graduate entry, or maybe 3 years of training if he's in it, 3 years in the ND and 1 year in the service academy, 4 years of training for ND cadet can make him to the natural, you can become you can officer, or maybe average officer, what we define it as in there. So what we tell after the conduct of this assessment is his future value, where can he be after completion of his training. So there are many factors which come into play, which help me forecast his value after training. If I feel that he will be able to reach the average officer standards after training, I will recommend him. And if I find that everything, this person, suppose somebody is coming from the armed forces background, he has seen the armed force in his bringing up itself. He has been with his father in the armed forces. This person will not improve much because of the training. So here again, I'll have to be cautious, that much cautious. The present level has to be that much good, because he has been in the same kind of atmosphere. So nothing will change for him. He may not improve by training. So I have to take that thing into account, and then I will announce my result, whether the personality or the individual which I am interviewing, whether he or she is recommendable or not. Every personality is unique. There can be no fixed pattern that if I tell you, okay, if he asks you this question, reply this. No. That is why my advice to the budding candidates, budding officers who want to join the armed forces is, please do not spoil your personality by taking inputs from a person who has himself or herself been to SSB so many times and they have not been successful. Okay, your personality is not same as of theirs. So please do not get impressed from a person who's been maybe to the SSB 15, 20 times. That person will not help you improve your personality. Instead of that, please, if you can get close to somebody, some person who's a qualified assessor, if he or she tells you, they will give you better guidance as to how you have to improve your responses to various questions for the interview and how you respond in the group task and psychological assessment. Okay, basically you are unique. There cannot be, I cannot tell you, okay, if somebody asks you who is the president of India, you reply this. No, this is not the correct way of preparing for the SSBs. If, first of all, I said there's no requirement for any preparation. Whatever you are, just go and respond is the best way of going to the SSB. But if you still want to do some kind of preparation for that, if you want to take some guidance, take guidance from the qualified people. Otherwise, you will be going into a negative direction. You will not be knowing as to what means some fresh mistakes you start committing. You will not come. You'll think that I have done correct and I have got some response from the person or my senior who has been to SSB for so many times. He has guided me. No, that is not. Your unique personality. Every personality is unique. So the methods of improving the personality also are unique. And means anybody who is not an assessor will not be able to give you any guidance for improvement of your personality for the armed forces, as I said.